Good morning, beloveds. I look like I just woke up. Not far wrong. Friday's my rest day. I turn well, that's not true. I don't turn the alarm off. I go ahead and set the alarm for later. Because if I turn the alarm off, I might not get out of bed at all. So, but I got one cat at my hip purring, then one cat at my feet purring. I don't know if she's going to do anything though. She might just sit there and purr. So, I'm trying to get her to come up on the couch. All right. It is September 15th. Our title is Communion. And our author is Imelda Octavia Shanklin. And this is from Selected Studies 1926. And this is from Unity. So, communion. I will tell thee all my thoughts. I will speak face to face with thee, as friend to friend. My most secret desires I will declare freely to thee. I will even search within myself that I may find and present to thee whatever the depths of my heart may treasure. This I will do, that my soul may be made all clean. I will listen for thy words to me in the flower roots, as the flower roots listen for the spring rain. Thy voice is as the music of a starlit night to my hearing. It is the song of the warm south wind in the fragrant pines. It is the cooing of the babe in his mother's smile. Thy voice is as the voice of the robin when his long northward flight is ended and he sings from the high bough of the maple tree at the red sunrise. I will send my mind to thee, running to meet thee, to learn what I may do in obedience to thy thought for me. Thy speech to me is such joy as never poet knew or harpist felt. My soul is wrapped in the ecstasy of devotion at thy most casual word. The voice of the beloved in the ears of the lover is not as sweet as thy whisper to me, when in the stillness of mortality, thy infinite understanding reaches my finite understanding. Long have we spoken, the one to the other, from that bright morn in which time has given birth to this present moment. My words have flown to thee, thy words to me. My thoughts melt into thy thoughts, and peace possesses me as the air possesses space. I know thy heart, and thou knowest mine. Not two hearts, but one. And again, let's talk about the power of poetry, because yesterday was a poem, today is a poem, and that is the power of poetry. That is the power of the written word to speak to and to move hearts and souls. When I talk about opening the windows of your soul, from that quote from Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul, to recognize that heaven's all around us. Poetry is one of the ways to do that. Good poetry should open your soul. It should make you tingle. And yes, I'm shitting on us, because that's what good poetry does. That's what good music does. It opens our soul, and it invites us to see the world differently. That's what good literature does. It opens our soul, it opens our mind, it opens our heart, and it invites us to see the world differently. And so I'm love that he is including, I like that he includes, lessons and lectures and, parts from talks and articles and things like that. But I love that he's including songs and that he's including poetry and that they speak, it's one of those things where I kind of wish I'd gone and practiced it a little bit so that I could have gotten a cleaner reading. But even my kind of messy reading really just kind of gave me the tingly chills that good poetry does. Open the windows of heaven. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, well, that's what poetry does. Good poetry, good literature, good music. It is that breath of heaven. And in this breath of heaven, what she is reminding us of is the constant communion, That's why she uses communion instead of, I think that's why. Okay, so here's me speculating. Why she uses communion instead of communication. Because the communion between you and the source of your own being is just that. It's below the level. It's below the conscious level. It is definitely in the subconscious level. Unless we do things like treatment and meditation, where we are consciously connecting to the source of our own being. But we are always connected, and we are always connected on that subconscious level. And so what she's doing is reminding us of the beauty of that communion. It's like, let me walk through my day. Let me walk through my life in communion with the source of my own being. And I will make conscious connections and communicate with the source of my own being, which is, like I said, treatment and meditation. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my life in such a way, I'm going to set my expectations in such a way that I stay in constant communion with the source of my own being. And I think that's what she's after today. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to examine, deepen, because she said the depths of my soul, the communion, not the communication, but the communion with the source of your own being. And the difference is, when I say communication, that's conscious with, and that's treatment and meditation, when you are consciously communicating with the source of your own being. But let's talk about all of those subconscious moments, especially when we're caught up in the beauty. Because when we're caught up in the beauty of whatever it is, be it music, be it poetry, be it literature, be it a walk in the nature, a good hike, that's when we are in communion with the source of our own being. So let's examine that and see if we can't build more of that communion with the source of our own being into our daily life. So that's the mission today, all right? To examine and build in more communion with the source of our own being, with spirit, with God, with whatever you want to call it, the universe, nature, whatever you want to call it. That's the mission today, all right? And to recognize the difference. So, and then I would suggest, as I always do, because building more of that communion time in, recognizing and building more of that communion time in, is self-care. That is absolutely one of the most loving, kind, and compassionate things you can do, is to build in more of that communion time, to read the poetry and the literature and listen to the music that just speaks to your soul, to go to places of beauty, and that can be anything. Like, I live not too far from botanical gardens. Obviously that is beauty, but deserts are beautiful too. Mountains are beautiful. The beach is beautiful. Wherever that speaks to the beauty of you, that is where you are going to commune with the source of your being. I can't think of anything more loving, kind, and compassionate than that, to increase that communion time. I mean, we need the communication time. The treatment and the meditation is wonderful, but that communion time, that's what feeds our soul. That's what feeds our soul on a level that is below, that subconscious level, below our consciousness. So love, kindness, compassion. Go to places that, listen to stuff that communes. But it also looks like taking a deep breath before you speak. It looks like taking a nap. It looks walking, especially if you go walk somewhere that you consider beautiful. That's gonna increase that communion time. And then, and vacations. I mean, schedule your vacation. When we went to, Desert Palms, I think is where we went, which is in a desert. And it was beautiful. I mean, we're in a desert, but it's still beautiful. Especially when we watch the sunrise from the top of the hotel. But, so that's communion. Watching sunrises and sunsets, that's communion time. That's what I'm talking about. And it's loving, kind, and compassionate. So, all right. The rest, so self-care. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to remind you, I do like to say eat dessert first, which I realized came to mean for me, don't save the good stuff. Your life is a special occasion, treat it as such. So wear the nice clothes now, use the good china now, burn the nice candles now. Do that stuff for yourself now. Don't wait for the special occasion. I heard a button poetry and he said, don't wait for a special occasion because don't wait for the right time because the right time will never come. That's what eat dessert first means to me. The right time is never going to come. So do it now. Do it now. And I'm also a big believer that chocolate is the first step to fixing anything. So, eat dessert first. Okay. And it's also that reminder about joy. And I'm going to go back to communion since this was such a beautiful poem about communion. I'm going to remind you that joy isn't necessarily the same thing as happy. Okay. Joy isn't necessarily big. It's not necessarily expressive. Joy can be quiet and joy can be, I don't know what word I'm looking for here. Joy can be quiet. So when I say joy is a quality of God, and joy is a quality of you, make room for joy, it doesn't mean that it has to be big and loud and expressive. It can be quiet. So, as in this communion, or the joy of it's raining. Wow, that's joy. And that would be a loving, kind, and compassionate thing, is to go dance in the rain. Especially since yesterday we got some rain and today I'm hoping we get more. And that is a joyful sound, and that is a sound that opens up my communion. Okay, I'm going to move forward. So, make room for joy. No matter what is going on in the world, no matter what is going on in your life, you deserve joy. Make room for it. Okay? Especially the quiet joys. Okay, the rest of the suggestions. Do something to engage your mind and your body, unless today is your day of rest. That you should have one day where you do not have to physically, you should build in the rest days. Please drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important. As I like to say, your brain works better when it's well hydrated. Your body works better when it's well hydrated. Your skin looks better when it's well hydrated. Drink plenty of water. We may have 3 days in a row where it may not get out of the 80s. Woo! After our summer of triple digits, I'm thrilled about that. But hydration is still important. And then get that early in your day bright light. It's raining. So obviously there's no sun this morning. Artificial light will help too. It's called a circadian rhythm. You can Google it. It is a natural hormone balance. It's also about your vitamin D. And remember, your vitamin D supports your thyroid. So it's science. You can look it up. And so 5 to 10 minutes of bright light. In between 7 and 9 in the morning, if it's sunlight, and if you get up before the sun, you can also, and since we're coming into that season, I've been diagnosed with seasonal affect disorder, so this is a big deal for me. You can Google seasonal affect disorder light or lamps. I think you can just buy light bulbs. So, and that 5 to 10 minutes. That's all. All right. And then I've already said this quote, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. One of the best ways to open the windows of your soul is poetry. We've had 2 poems in a row that were absolutely beautiful. The poem today was about communion. Well, good literature, good music, good poetry. All of that, they do that. They open the windows of your soul. They are that breath of heaven. Okay. So lean into it when you find it. Lean into it when you find it. I talked about to lessen the confusion, you need a spiritual infusion. Well, poetry can do that. Communion definitely does that. So, all right. Okay. Social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. Oh, you know what? Look for the good and praise it. Forgot that. You want to open the windows of your soul? Take Emma's advice. Look for the good and praise it. Okay. On to the social media. Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Riot on the social medias that I am on. I encourage you to check them out. There's hours of content. We try and put up light, bright, enlightening, and funny stuff. We all have senses of humor, and that comes out because I think, laughter is the best medicine. So if I can put up a good giggle, I will do that. All right, beloveds. And if you want to know what's going on with the center, email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact, and that will, those hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it'll either take you right to the information, i.e. the soul session playlists. If you click on that link, it'll take you right to our YouTube channel, where then you can subscribe and you'll get notified when we put new stuff up. Or you can, or it'll take you to the person that can get it. It is really raining out there. That is so amazing. Yay. Okay. So, I guess I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a go dance in the rain day, a communion day, a breath of heaven day, a loving day, a kindness day, a communications day, a depths of your soul day, a good day. And if that's too much pressure, honestly, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You're a beloved child of God. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. As Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you're a godling. All right? Explore the truth of your being. Peel back the layers of who you have been told you are. And get to know who God knows you to be. Okay? The person that God knows, which has nothing to do with anything anybody has told you, is good. And that's who you want to know. And that is what communion is about. That is what communication is about. That's what opening the windows of our soul is about. It's about getting to know the essence of ourself, which is who God knows. All right? Okay. All right. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time. I'm going to go dance in the rain.